Hampden Bridge demolition project. We've commenced with site establishment last week, and that's going to continue over the next few weeks. The site establishment is in line with the approved development application for the demolition of the bridge, and we're also looking at some amendment to that application in regard to the methodology around how the actual bridge is being demolished. So the original development application was for pulling the bridge apart in situ, in place, which required the establishment of work platforms under the bridge, the utilisation of cranes and workers working on the bridge, dismantling sections of the bridge. Some concerns around that about the risk to the workers working at height, working on a structure that's questionable as far as its structural integrity goes, and the risk of maybe having unplanned collapses resulting out of that. So the contractor's given us some ideas, or is proposing a different methodology or a different technique for demolishing the bridge, which involves induced collapse. So this relates to the three main spans. The sort of thing we're looking at is dropping the span in one complete unit, dragging it up onto the embankment, and then dismantling it while it's on the embankment. That's sort of a much better and safer approach, also likely to be more time effective. To actually remove the spans as complete units, for the span at the western end of the bridge, at the Knight's Meet end if you like, they're actually talking about the western abutment, using that as a hinge point, so leaving that connected, installing like a pivot point under there to protect the abutment. And the abutment has got some heritage significance. It's got the date stone, it's got the engineering plaque on it, so we want that to be retained and remain. Make that a hinge point, pivot point under there, and then disconnect the bridge from the pylon at just on the side of the pylon, and then let the bridge drop a hinge, just like a hinge on a door, I suppose. They put a skid in here along the embankment, drop the complete span onto that skid, drag that up onto the bank, and then dismantle it onto the bank. And that's in preference of actually having guys working on the bridge at height, which puts them at significant risk. Same methodology proposed for the North Wagga end of the bridge, same idea. We use that as a hinge point, so that connection will remain. Disconnect at that point just near the pylon, have a skid in place, let the bridge drop onto that skid, and then again drag that up onto the embankment and dismantle it on the embankment. The middle span, a little bit more interesting, obviously being directly over the river. The intention is that we disconnect either end and then drop that span directly into the river in one unit. There'll be cables attached to it, so we can recover that unit, drag it out onto the bank again, and then dismantle it on the bank. At this stage, this change in methodology is just in the planning stage. It does require that we go back and ask for an amendment to the development application. So this is subject to a whole lot of approvals and that amendment to the development application process. Just when we're talking about actually separating the bridge from the pylons, we're actually talking about drilling into the structural members and inserting charges. So you'll actually insert a small explosive charge into the structural member, and that would be detonated remotely, so you wouldn't have any staff. There'd be an exclusion zone, you wouldn't have any staff close to that. That would be detonated, and then that bridge would just drop onto the skid. Same applies for the middle span and the span on the western end of the bridge. So we've currently got the contractor on site undertaking preparation works. Some of that preparation works includes the managing the lead-based paint that's on the bridge and the other contaminated materials. Involves things like removing the flaking paint, immobilising the other material by wrapping or covering it by other means. They'll also be able to, part of the site establishment is securing the site, fencing, site huts, all those sorts of things, moving the work platforms into place. So they'll actually be installing work platforms under the bridge, will be in the form of barges. So that's currently underway at the moment. And also the removal of the North Wagga end of the bridge. So we're talking about using induced collapse for the 3 main spans. The actual demolition methodology for the ramp on the North Wagga side, that'll be just undertaking as we spoke about before, just using cranes and just lifting sections of that off and dismantling it. So those sorts of works are underway. The actual demolition of the 3 main spans, by the time we go through the approval processes and amendment to the DA, we're expecting that to occur probably around about July.